So looking at the first problem on the review, we're asked to graph some polynomials and then gather some information. Right. So the first thing we're asked for is real zeros. That is where the line of the graph crosses the x-axis. So we are going to pull those right from Desmos. Zoom in a little bit. Right. So I see 3 real zeros. Right. So I have a 0 at x equals negative 1.879. And I can graph that right here. And then I have a 0 at x equals 0.347. I'll graph that right here. And then I have a third 0 at x equals 1.532. And I will graph that as well. The other things we are asked for are relative minima. That's that localized low point. When you write that, make sure you write out the full point. 1 comma negative 1. And I can graph that. And then I have a localized maximum or relative maximum at negative 1 comma 3. So over left 1 up 3. My graph then peaks here as a minimum. So I use those 5 points that I get right from Desmos to graph the line. For number 2, I get that typed into Desmos as well. 2x to the third minus 3x squared plus 2. And then again, I'm pulling information right out of Desmos. So it only has one real 0. That would be at x equals negative 0.678. So I can graph that. And then it has a localized max here at 0 comma 2. Also happens to be my y-intercept. And a relative minima here at 1 comma 1. So my graph comes in from negative infinity, hits a maximum, then a minimum, and then continues back upward towards positive infinity. For numbers 3 through 6, we're working on factoring. Problem number 3 is a greatest common factor problem. So I'm going to look at the 9 and the 18. I see they're both divisible by 9. And x squared and x, right? X squared and x are both divisible by x. When you have variables, you always take the smallest exponent out of all of the options that you have. So right, we have x squared and x to the first, so I'm going to divide out an x to the first. That leaves me with 9 divided by 9 is 1. X squared divided by x is just x. And then negative 18x divided by 9x would be a negative 2. And then that is your factored form for number 3. Number 4 is also a greatest common factor problem. I look at 8, 4, and 12. They are all divisible by 4. And then looking at the variable parts, I have j to the third, j to the first, and j to the first. So I would just divide out a j to the first. And then I have k's in this one as well. K, k to the third, and no k's at all, or k to the 0. So I would have to divide out no k's, or that k to the 0, the k, the 1. Right? So basically I'm not dividing out any of the k's. Okay? So looking then, 8 divided by 4 is 2. j to the third divided by j is j squared, and then the k is going to drop down. Negative 4j k to the third divided by 4j. The 4's are going to cancel. The j's are going to cancel. That leaves us with k to the third. And then negative 12j divided by 4j would be negative 3. Number 5 is a factor or a sum of cubes problem. So that is where we have the relationship of some number to the third power plus some other number that we'll call b to the third power. So looking at number 5, these are both perfect cubes. 8 is a perfect cube. 2 to the third is 8, and a to the third gives us this a to the third here. And then 27 is also a perfect cube. It is 3 to the third power, makes the 27. So anywhere then in this relationship that I see a, I am going to write down this 2a, and anywhere in the relationship that I see b, I'm going to write down a 3. Right? So this is going to be my a value, and this is my b value. And that relationship is a plus b times a squared plus ab. So you're just going to multiply the two factors, and then plus b squared. So anywhere that I see an a, I write down this 2a. And anywhere I see a b, I write down the 3. Right from right here. Here's my a value. Here's my b value. So I'm going to have 2a all squared plus 2a times 3 plus 3 squared. I've done all my substitution, and then I just do any simplifying I can over on the far right side. So 2 squared is 4, and a squared is a squared. 2a times 3 would be 6a, and then 3 squared is 9. That's probably one of the more difficult problems on the test. Looking at number 6, we're going to factor by grouping. We're going to split it first two terms and last two terms. So factoring 3b squared plus 3b, well, they're both divisible by 3, and they're both divisible by b. So that'll leave me with b plus 1. And whatever I wrote in parentheses on the left side, I also need in parentheses on the right side for factor by grouping to work. So what do I need to divide this negative 10b by to get just b? Well, that would be negative 10. Right? If I divide out the negative 10, I'm left with b. And then this here, the negative 10 here, divided by that factor of negative 10 gives me my 1. So finishing this out, I have to do the grouping b plus 1. And then the two factors that are not grouped yet are going to be grouped here to finish out that factor by grouping. For these next two, it says write a polynomial f of least degree that has rational coefficients, leading coefficient of 1, and the given zeros. So what that means is we are going to set up a function, let's call it f of x. They tell us that here. And then we are keeping this as basic as possible. We have rational coefficients, leading coefficient of 1, and then these are our zeros listed here. And remembering back even into chapter 3, if I factor and get these and end up with these zeros, these numbers are the opposite of the factors that I got, right? So the positive 4 is going to become negative 4. So it'll be x minus 4, x minus 5, and x plus 6. Okay, then after that, I have to simplify. So this is going to be a FOIL problem here. X times x is x squared, minus 5x minus 4x plus 20. And before I multiply that all by the x plus 6, I need to combine some like terms. So I have x squared, and then this right here is what I'm combining, minus 9x plus 20. Now that I have that simplified, I'm going to multiply these first 3 terms by both terms in my second factor, this x and the 6. So first, all these 3 times x, and then I will come back through and multiply them all by the 6. To finish this out, do a final combining of like terms. I get x to the 3rd, and then minus 3x squared, minus 34x, plus 120. For number 8, we'll set that up the same way. F of x equal to, and then I'm going to have these 3 sets of parentheses. They all get an x. And this 8 will become a minus 8. The minus 2 will become a plus 2. And the positive 3 will become a subtract 3. And then I am going to FOIL. I'm going to FOIL these first 2 factor sets. Right? X times x is x squared. So this would be plus 2x minus 8x minus 16. That was my FOIL work. I do need to combine like terms in the middle. So it'd be x squared minus 6x minus 16. So now I am going to multiply this trinomial that I got from FOILing by x minus 3. So multiply it all by x. And multiply it all by the negative 3. So this would be minus 3x squared plus 18x plus 48. So my final combined like terms here, we have f of x equals x to the 3rd minus 9x squared from right here. And then negative 16x plus 18x would be plus 2x plus 48. For the last 2, right, we're looking at transformations of these functions. So our parent function here is x to the 3rd. Then we're looking at the transformed function here, g of x. Remember, anything in parentheses has to do with horizontal, and it's opposite of what the signs show us. Anything outside parentheses is vertical, and it is not opposite. So For number 9, this plus 6 here is going to translate or shift everything left 6. And then this 2 here is going to also shift it or translate it down 2. So we just have two translations there in number 9. For number 10, the negative 3 out in front of x to the 5th. Well, if it's outside parentheses, it has to do with the vertical. So the negative is going to reflect or flip across the x-axis. Okay, that's from the negative. And the 3 is going to be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Or 3, sorry, factor of 3. So vertical is on the outside. We have the negative 3. The negative does the reflection or flip across the x-axis, and the 3 does a stretch. That is it for the review for the second half of chapter 4.